tat. I collect Queen Amidala stuff. I've got some ridiculous items recently. Ray figurines. I collect hand carbonite and kind of a carbonite focus going on at the moment as well. Kind of a bit strange, but recently I've just been very focused on Queen Amidala nonsense. And I picked up some great stuff like a bowling ball and luggage and a rocking chair. And it just goes on forever and ever. So if you ever find anything, Duncan, want to get rid of anything? Just pass on those knee pads, those skateboard knee pads. I love them. Right, on my right here, we have Mr. Andy Preston.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. That's the first time I've ever had a round of applause like that. Very well. Andy Preston. I am a vintage collector. I saw Star Wars for the first time in the cinema back at the age of 8. Loved it, really blew me away. Immediately went out and started buying toys. I remember buying my first Toy 12-back Darth Vader, which of course was ripped straight off the card and played with and enjoyed as they should have been. Had a lot of the other merchandise. I had stationery, and I had bath products, and I had the wallpaper on my wall, and absolutely loved it. So that's the focus of my collecting now. I collect anything that was made in Britain or made for the British market in that vintage period in the 70s and 80s. Also a little sideline cast and crew gear, and that's from any country.
Sideline, Andy. Sideline.
He's wearing it, look.
How much you spend on that?
That's what the real thing is. The real thing stays there.
Yeah, but like the real thing you've got to have. How much you spend on that? Come on. He moved his children out of the house into the shed and rented the rooms out.
Yes. So, that's me.
He's playing himself down, and if you want to know anything about British collectibles, he'll just read it off like that. I've noticed he's got an encyclopedic brain. Right, talking of encyclopedic brains, Andy.
Wow.
That was harsh. That's harsh. Sorry, James.
I have a cabbage brain, to be fair. Nothing at all. So I'm Andy Spoons Norton.
Oh, yes.
And also, this is actually amazing that we've got these people here. We're at the end of all the podcasts on a Monday. Everyone's worn out. We were kind of thinking, are we really just going to have my family here? So thank you all for coming here. I've got no claims to fame about comics or anything like that. I read them. I read these comics and find people that we know in them. That's my skill. I collect vintage die-casts mostly these days. I do vintage Star Wars diecast.co.uk for all your vintage die-cast needs. I'm also a hand-moth collector. I've been doing it for many years now, but very few pieces to find, certainly within my budget. So that's, I think that's me really. I mean, actually, in terms of the background, very similar to Randy. I always say to people that I've been to Star Wars since I saw Empire Strikes Back, I think for my 9th birthday in 81, because the second year after it came out. But I was thinking about this before the panel we did, and actually, I think back to going to my childminders after junior school, and the childminders kid had an Imperial Troop transport, and I knew nothing about Star Wars, but that toy was there, and that's kind of my first link to Star Wars toys. And here I am, however many years, 45 years later, something like that, kind of doing a podcast. I never thought that would be the case. So that's me.
Right, I was being mean to Jason. That's a terrible thing. Jason is Mr. Palatoy, and he will explain why.
Well, yeah, my name is Richard Johnson, and I collect Whippets and Coal. Well, he's not here, so this will yes. Yes, I am known as Mr. Palatoy.
I didn't even hear like one fan club.
So I've been collecting since about 2005, and in, I think it was 2006, I kind of took over and started maintaining the Palatoy Clubback Matrix. So there's an online website with the Matrix on it, and it's also in book form from Echo Base now as well. You can get a kind of printed version of it. So I saw all the original films. I was probably about 9 when Star Wars started coming out in the UK. I kind of faded out of Star Wars when the ZX81 came out in 1981. So about the age of 12 onwards, I was just kind of lost in computers at that point. But I did have the original first 12 figures and a land speeder and some other little bits and bobs. My collection these days is, I've got like the first 20 Palatoy mint on card. I've got probably about 2,000 card backs now. So I've got maybe 450 unique different Palatoy cards. So like everything's a print variation of these. If it's got a little factory code on it, it's a different card and I must have it. So I've got all that. I've also got a lot of UK collectibles. I've got quite a good Helix collection. I've got Letraset, HCF, Cliro, stuff like that. And I've got a 2-1B Focus, which I've been neglecting for the last few years. I feel I should be getting more 2-1B collectibles.
You need cosplayers, that Jason, 2-1B.
Oh.
See that.
You want me to cosplay as 2-1B? That would be...
So that inside bit that's see-through a bit amazing.
Yeah, I'm also known for cosplaying, but I haven't really done Star Wars cosplay yet. So I'm kind of known for cosplaying Biff Tannen from Back to the Future and Lewis Dodgson from Jurassic
It's
Park.
that good. It's that good, I'm not joking.
You can't do Thor anymore, you did do Fat Thor.
Yeah.
I did Fat Thor, but I have lost about 3 stone in the last 6 months, so I've kind of like, I've lost a lot of my stature. But I do want to do, I want to do a Star Wars cosplay. I think I would want to do Uncle Owen. So maybe with an arm.
Maybe brew.
And then just, as I see stormtroopers going around, you just like dive behind a partition and then go, there'll be a loud bang and there'll be, oh, it's happened again. And I'd throw out a blackened skeleton on that one. So that'd be a nice little tie-in. You see stormtroopers everywhere, obviously. So, you know.
Jason was actually very kind to put me up for this London celebration, and he was very kind to actually share his collection with us. I mean, I'm going to take some of it home, obviously, thank you, Jason. But it is a phenomenal collection, and it's beautifully presented. You've got a real eye for Jason. He's still there. And his card backs, it's just like a shop. So what can I have when I go tomorrow?
Nothing.
Right, we'll get into it. What I'm going to do now is just quickly talk about, when we go on, I expect, about our, we'll do that first. About Memories of Return of the Jedi. So I was, oh crikey, I can remember when it started to come out, so about sort of 82-ish things started to happen, and it was seeing this little fishy guy suddenly started appearing on cards. It's like, what on earth was going on there? So my expectations of Return of the Jedi weren't great when I was a kid again. I was about 9 years old, and it was like, fish guys, not sure about that. But then when I saw Jabba the Hutt, I've never seen it like it. I still, even today, I don't think anything comes close to Jabba the Hutt. The way he looks, he almost smiles on screen. It's so intense, and it is one of those things that really can't stay there. I think the Ewoks, sadly, when we negative, but they did kill me off when lots of bears started coming out. I mean, as a 9-year-old, with computers coming out and stuff, and it kind of like soiled my enthusiasm for Star Wars or something. But I just remember in the stores the phenomenal amount of stuff that came out, which we shall be covering slightly later with Duncan, some of the stuff that did come out. But yeah, Andy, your memories of Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, well, exactly the same as yourself, Pete.
Let's go on.
First inkling of Return of the Jedi really was this strange Admiral Akbar figure who was on the back of the action figure cards, a mail-away promotion. So of course I mailed away for Admiral Akbar, and he came a few days later in a little white box, very pleased with that. I hadn't a clue who he was, but nice figure. Fishman. I can remember getting some of the earlier figures, because the figures I think were released before the movie. So we were speculating in school who these guys were. And most interesting, on the back of the cards, there were 2 blacked out figures, 2 fuzzy outlines. And a friend of mine maintained that that's exactly what you got when you bought the figure. It was fuzzy black. One of which was called Chief Chirper, and the other one was called Logray. And we wondered who on earth these guys were. Of course, it says they turned out to be teddy bears, didn't they? But eventually Return of the Jedi did hit the theatres, and I remember going down to Torquay. We lived in Teignmouth in South Devon at the time, and we piled 3 or 4 of my school friends into the car, all very excited, drove down there, and I remember a huge queue outside the cinema, snaking back down the street, and having to wait for, at age 12, whatever I was, seemed for...
23, Andy, come on. Don't lie.
Something like that.
5 or 6.
Yeah, and I can remember whilst I was waiting, we'd have a little wander up to go and have a look at the cinema and have a look at the posters outside and the stuff in the lobby cards and so on. And there was a chap in there who was selling these little programme books. You've probably seen them, the white cover special collector's edition. So I bought one of those and took it back to read in the line. And that's a good memory way to go to Jedi. After that, carried on collecting the figures, got all the first series of figures and the vehicles, etc. But again, after that, no, losing interest, turning to Dungeons and Dragons and computers and
Marriage,
things like that.
kids.
And yeah, I got the Emperor. The Emperor was a mail away, so again, sent off my action figure names, ruined all my card backs, cutting the names out, sticking them down, sending them off. Got the Emperor, but after that, I was too old for Star Wars. So, age 13, too old. Here I am, 52. Still 52.
Just retired.
From Benny's of the movie, absolutely loved it, blown away. I thought Jabba's Palace and Jabba's Sail Barge were fantastic, really loved the creatures. I thought the battles were fantastic again on the Sail Barge and the skiff. That battle with the rebels escaping, with catching his lightsaber far too detail and skiff guys tumbling into the Sarlacc pit. Thought that was great. Not so sure about Ewoks perhaps, but the end battle with action going on in space and in the throne room on the Death Star and on Endor, I thought all that was just wonderful. Just so much action, piled upon action. And Luke's triumphant end to the movie. Not defeating Vader, but redeeming him, I thought that was fantastic, and I really appreciated Luke's journey. So I thought it was a really fitting end to the trilogy, and if that was the last Star Wars film we were ever going to get, which then it was, then that'll do for me.
Anything you stole now, Andy, from back in the day?
Yeah, a few bits. But the trouble is, all my figures, when I got back into collecting in the 1990s, I didn't think to keep my childhood collection separate, so all my figures were all sort of bundled in with others that I bought then. So it's just a few figures that I can recognise as being childhood ones, because they've still got that reddish mud from the garden in the little nooks and crannies, so those are my childhood ones. Yeah, otherwise few bits and pieces.
Spoons, come on.
Well,
Not so old, not as old as Andy.
not quite as old as Andy, still pretty old. So, but actually, E.T. was probably the first film I remember the hype for. So just a little bit before Return of the Jedi. But so with those Marvel comics, I think any comics back in the day here, Whoopi I used to get. You see the adverts for Revenge of the Jedi. And I remember seeing those before the film came out. Me and the school friend were absolutely amazed going to get a new Star Wars film. I don't remember any of that for the early ones, don't remember Star Wars at all. So that was the first film I remember the hype for. And it was also the first film that I went to see twice. Not because I actually loved it seeing it the first time, but I went for a friend's birthday and it was my brother's birthday not long after, so I saw the film twice in quick succession. And until the recent releases of Star Wars, so I don't think it was the prequel, so the sequels, I don't think I've seen any film twice at the cinema. So that was, it was a fantastic film. I'm not as discerning as some of these people. Had no issue with Ewoks whatsoever. They were great. I remember those blacked out figures on the back being, what are these? What are these? I was lucky enough as well to live in a big estate, so all the kids in the street had Star Wars toys, and they'd all be out playing in the street. So me and my brother, I don't remember my mum wearing gold or silver nail varnish, but I had silver nail varnish on the feet of my figures. My brother had gold on his. All the other kids in the street had their figures marked. The free figures, so Akbar, kind of he would be, some kids would have him. I remember sending off for the Emperor, really clearly the Emperor arriving. But I probably stopped playing with toys, maybe a year later. But the Return of the Jedi figures feature so strongly in my childhood memories, but in reality it's probably a little more than a year, maybe a year and a half. And I'm going to Asda. And Asda was relatively new to us there with my grandma, maybe like November, and her buying us early early Christmas presents, and my brother and myself getting speeder bikes off the shelf. So we've got, for those childhood memories, which is, I hope is why most of you listen, is why certainly we do the show. It's all about nostalgia, and it's all so vivid with Return of the Jedi. It's just amazing. It's 40 years old. I don't think any story. The film, I loved, as I say, I have no issue with any of the scenes. Lots of battles. That's what. How long will I be? 10-year-old. That's what 10-year-old me liked. Battles, lightsabers, blasters. It had them all. I was a happy student.
Andy, favourite Ewok?
Wicket. I actually remember Simon Tagara at school. He used to bring his Wicket to school every single day. And these memories are still there. Great toy.
Right, come on, Jason.
Well, I'm 2 years older than Andy, I'm like 54. So when Return of the Jedi came out, I was 14, and I'd been lost to home computers at that point. So yeah, my memories of Return of the Jedi, not an awful lot, because I had the first Star Wars figures, and then when Empire Strikes Back came out, I'd go around my mate's house and he had all the Empire Strikes Back figures, and we'd play with his Empire Strikes Back stuff, and then we'd go around mine and we'd play with Action Man. So yeah, Return of the Jedi, I'd have been playing 3D Star Strike, which was the kind of knockoff Star Wars game.
Is that the one on the Spectrum?
That is ZX Spectrum. So, yeah, I got one of those in 1983, so I was kind of playing with that a lot. I do have a good story about rediscovering my childhood figures, though. Obviously, when I started collecting, I got a mint set of figures, and then I'd be buying a lot of card backs with figures. So I ended up with like, 5 or 6 figures for a lot of these things, and then went, oh, I want my childhood figures now, which ones are they? And I had a photo that I'd taken of all 12 of them back in 2003, and from that picture, there's little paint imperfections in each figure, and like there'll be a tear on a cloak, and I was able to identify all of my childhood figures from that photo in this big pile of figures, so I was very happy about that. But the actual movie itself, I remember being very, very kind of annoyed with the Ewoks, because they're just like little teddy bears with sticks, and they're up against kind of clone troopers who are kind of trained to fight and kind of kill people, and they ended up as a pile of kind of bongo drums at the end of the film, so I was kind of fairly annoyed by that. But as a collector, I've kind of really mellowed. I've actually started to really like the Ewoks now, and I'm, obviously a brand new Princess Nisa fan, as you may have heard on the podcast.
I think he's fallen in love with Princess Nisa is the truth about this.
So yeah,
He's got a bag, he's got a hat, he's got a cloak, he's got everything. It's amazing, he loves them.
Next cosplay.
yes.
Yeah, there we go. Jason, Princess Nisa. Right, well, I want to cut now to our special guest. Andy, you might want to swap that side.
I'll do that.
So Duncan can see this slide. Now, Duncan Jenkins is our very special guest today. So Duncan, come on stage. Does anyone know Duncan Jenkins who he is?
Yep.
Yes, his wife. Fantastic. I will let you introduce himself, but all I'm saying is he has quite a bit of Star Wars stuff.
Love it. So I have the collection that I call the Smithsonian, and it's a separate building that houses about 200,000 different Star Wars items from all over the world. That's
Jason, you're close. I have been frenzied about this the last few days, right, when I found out what we were going to do, which sounds ridiculous, right? But Duncan has picked out and said, right, come on the podcast and pick out your 5 Return of the Jedi kind of obscurities. Now, number 1 is ridiculous, right? No one's ever seen it, well, not for quite a long time. If any of you've seen it, you're all liars. But it is ridiculous, and we've just been getting very, very excited about this picture. So it's not even on the archive, is it, the picture? So.
the individual ones are on the archives. Yeah. Oh, at the very yes.
Yeah, no, the last one.
You're right, it's not on the archive yet.
Yeah, it's not on yet. You say yet. Right, so, Duncan, take it away. What's this?
Okay, so this is a group of pencil sharpeners from Mexico, and the company was called Creaciones Juanin J-U-I-N, so I probably butchered the pronunciation on that. But they're just hilarious looking. I mean, these are licensed products, the little sharpeners in the base there. But, Wicket looks a little skeptical of being next to Darth Vader taking him, and then Akbar with his little mustache, I think, is a nice touch as well.
Right.
And of course, you can't have a conversation of Star Wars collectibles without talking about Underoos. I don't know why, but they always come up. So, Return of the Jedi, they added a new line of characters, and in this case it was Chewbacca. The underwear that's fun to wear was their tagline, and inside of the box was a certificate, so you could become a Jedi Knight by buying underwear. You didn't have to do the trials or anything that all the old Jedi Knights went through. It was a much easier way to do it during Return of the Jedi.
I always found it a bit strange, like when you packed into a lot of focus and the Underoos problem arrives.
Right.
So I find it a bit odd, collecting underwear. Especially with kids stuff, it's just, I don't know, there's something wrong with that.
And they have the commercial on YouTube that you can watch, but it's just a little odd too, so yeah.
Let's move on.
That's right. Moving right along. Denmark now, and so this is Yoda's own blend of tea. So it makes sense. He cooks a good root leaf stew. He also makes up a nice blended tea. So next time you want to have a little tea time, you might want to check this one out. This was by Iverson and Larson was the company name. And this is a good example. A lot of people think that licensed products go through the same, rigorous testing and quality control that everything does across the world, but that's not true, obviously. So these were one of those where it's better to ask forgiveness than it is to ask permission, because these were created before they went to Lucasfilm for the permission to actually make the product. But it is post-licensed, so it's kind of one of those borderline cases where was it really licensed or not.
Duncan, I've got to ask, have you tried it? What does it taste
I
like?
have not, no. I know, so I can't give you a good taste of or information on what it tastes like.
I'm intrigued to know what Yoda's tea would taste like. Is it a nice refined Earl Grey or a good English breakfast tea? What do you reckon Yoda might enjoy?
Rooty, horrible, like a Australian kind of soupy tea.
Actually, it's got to be green tea, hasn't it?
Very rooty.
I think it'd be about the same as his food.
It does taste it. It's nice, isn't it?
And then this is from Australia. So there's a lot of good food products. One of the areas that I really enjoy. But from Australia, they had ice lollies, as you all would say. Popsicles is what we would call them in the United States. But these are special because they come with Jedi jelly. Don't know what Jedi jelly is. May not be approved by most governing bodies for human consumption, but whatever, those have Jedi jelly in it. And related to your Akbar stories then, this was another way that you could get the Admiral Akbar figure. The Tolstoy's version was to mail off by eating lots of these ice lollies and sending in the wrappers.
Jedi jelly, a bit odd, but then perhaps not surprising coming from the same company that also did a Return of the Jedi promotion on Harper's Dog Chow.
That is, yes, the dog chow is another famous Australian one. It was during Return of the Jedi, and it almost made my top 5, but I didn't go for it. But yeah, we got to have man's best friend getting some love of Star Wars collectibles as well.
Okay, right, here it comes. So just be careful, right? Don't get too excited. So just adjust your seats and relax, okay? There we go. And just calm. Just take a deep breath. Oh no. And return, of course. Just, okay, here we go. I'm not joking now, okay? Deadly serious, deadly serious. You got to get over that one. Right, it genuinely is the next one, okay? Duncan, you ready?
I'm ready.
Boys, you ready?
We're ready.
Andy looks very ready for something. Not quite sure what.
Oh, wait, I want to do this.
Okay, here we go.
The Star Wars speedboat.
Star Wars speedboat, naturally, right? Of course, what would you not expect in licensed products? Because you all remember the famous boating scene from Return of the Jedi, the speedboats. Or maybe that was a cut scene, I'm not sure. And so Aquafun, also from Australia, did a line of inflatable swim aids. And so they had the little swimmies that you would put on your forearms to help swim, which was an Ewok, and they did an R2-D2. And then they had the ring, the tube that you would have. And then there was some others that also created a canoe and a speedboat. So this obviously is not motorized. And then kind of an interesting story about this one, and the reason why it's not on the archive. When Gus and I were working on our first book, we were gathering up all the information of every collectible that we could find information on. And from this line, we had heard rumors of a speedboat as part of the items that were produced. But we could never confirm it. So on our lists of things that we were coming up with, we just like, okay, if we can't confirm it, we're not going to put it in the book. And so we waited as long as we could. We sent everything off to the printing. And the very next day, one of these showed up on eBay. So I bought it, got it, but it was too late to include it in the book. So it's not even in our Gus and Duncan's guide to comprehensive guide to Star Wars collectibles. So it's not comprehensive, it's a lie.
Maybe you could do an extra page that would just slide into.
That's right. So the second edition will just have the speedboat edition. Now it's speedboat.
Boat-related Star Wars items across the galaxy.
Have its own little category.
Has anyone seen this before? It's not of interest. No. Oh, thank goodness for that. That could be a disaster, couldn't it? Right, Duncan, thank you very much for that.
My pleasure.
As spectacular as I hoped.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. It was very difficult to get it down to 5 because there are so many oddball Star Wars items from Return of the Jedi. So you guys have an enjoyable time for the rest of your podcast, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Duncan. Appreciate that. Right. Now, if you're a regular listener, we do a section. I'm going to try and repeat it here, and let's see how it goes live, because normally we're better prepared than this. With stuff. And Andy, we just found out he likes to prepare far too much for the section. Let's see how good he is live.
Well, we've got some actual people here to time Peter, and I always accused of overrunning on this section. And won't fit him in 90 seconds exactly.
Yeah, exactly. What we do is, I thought it was 45 seconds last me. Right, what we do is, Andy gives us a figure, and we've got to defend it, and make it sound good and cool, and only one of our own size of the game. So, we've each been given a thing. So, Jason, you've got the A-Wing?
I do.
Oh, that's good. Mr. Andy Preston, you've got the Battle Wagon. Good luck with that.
Oh, I've got some of my sleep, don't you worry.
And I have the skiff and spoons. Well, you know what? Spoons, Phil Show is going to win it.
Good ship.
Sorry, what did you just say?
Good ship.
Oh, looks from the internet, hammers off. Right, so who wants to go first? Andy Preston. Well done, you go first. Did anyone time it in? I'll take on it all. Go on. Oh, there's got notes. That's cheating, notes. Go, just go, stop now.
Even though never seen in the movie, the Battle Wagon is still kind of groovy. It's driven by Wicket, he thinks just the ticket to pull Ewok chicks, the old smoothie. It can carry a host of small bears, some down below, more upstairs. When the Ewoks are impelled from beasts wild and feral, this wagon comes to answer their prayers. It rolls through the forest with ease, the skull and horns batter down trees. If on Endor you're strolling when this comes a-rolling, trust me, you better not freeze. The front has a battering ram to fight off the Gorax, wham, bam! And any biker scouts or stormtrooper legs can be crushed into strawberry jam. At the back, there's a dangling cage. For the Ewoks, a traffic stage. When the Dulocs run past, Wicked snaps them up fast and catches them in such a rage. Up top, winding gear and a drum to beat out a wicked rhythm. So when danger's around, the signal will sound and warrior Ewoks will come. It was sold at the end of the line, with Star Wars sadly in decline. In a Power of the Force box, surprisingly, not Ewoks, but collectors still love it just fine. Now my poetry skills are dragging, and I'm sure your attention is flagging. So please, all take note, send up your vote for the Super Ewok Battle Wagon.
It's going to be something like a, well, I mean, that was not really good. Right, I want to go next, because I'm not going to do a poem, I'm going to tell about the facts of the item. Go for it. Actual facts. So, skiff, beautiful thing, absolutely amazing. Weirdly enough, the features on this don't appear on the exact same mould of the modern version, which is exactly the same, apart from the actual cool parts, which are 2 levers, you've got a landing gear, and you've got the little thing that pops out, and you quick action triggers off and flick them off. And outside into something made in the garden. Now, as a kid, I never had one of those, never saw one of those. My skiff was a Playmobil, kind of like dreamboat thing with a little fence. It looked just like it. So I thought, it's got a fence on it, so it must be exactly like it. So I remember building or digging, my dad's annoyance, a big pit in the garden, stick on the side, and just enjoying flicking figures off into the silent pit. And if it rained, even better, because they kind of like sun in the middle there. But this horse is going out on the Power of the Force range. It's ridiculously hard to get hold of in good condition. It's so fragile and brittle. But I mean, the skiff, it is just an absolute stunning looking piece of merch. But yeah, if you are after it, good luck. And that's me. See, I didn't go on for 2 hours, 45 seconds, I think.
Bit short, really. Need a bit more information.
It's got enough information. It's the skiff. So right, let's go with Jason.
It's not magic all the time, it's only when I speak in rhyme. No, I'm not going to do poetry for you because I can't do poetry. All my information is Chambers is stolen from Star Wars Archive. So here we go. So it's basically the A-Wing, which features prominently in the Battle of Return of the Jedi when they're right at the end going up another Death Star. It's on the droids line of toy collectibles, but it's really late in the line and it's not very cartoony, so a lot of American collectors consider it to be part of the Kenner range. But anyway, it's a very nice vehicle. The front box states the A-Wing came with a special planetary map inside. This was basically a folded sheet of paper which featured a painted collage on one side and a catalogue on the other. Then during the mid-1990s, the A-Wing and Tatooine skiff ruled the British collecting routes. They were difficult to find, attractive, and sold for huge prices in unused condition. And since that time, the demand for both toys has decreased considerably in large part because Hasbro has reissued both in slightly modified forms. So there you have it. The A-Wing, a very nice collectible if you can get your hands on it.
Right, do you have one, James?
I don't, because I was saying with Paltoy box collector.
Although you can find Palatoy sticker versions.
I've only
seen one.
I did not know that.
Look at this. New news.
I need one now.
Oh my goodness. Right, Mr. Spoons, come on. You've been preparing for this for weeks. Your kids have been telling me you've been up practicing at night and all sorts. Come on, let's have this.
I wish they'd bought me one. I've never owned a shuttle. That's a birthday present for next year. So the shuttle is amazing. It's big. It's really big. It's so big. On the box art, which isn't shown on this picture, the other side of Fan's Peak, they had to get an 18-year-old kid to hold it, to demonstrate it. Because normal-sized kids couldn't do it. When the wings are extended, it is the biggest ship in the line. And it's absolutely amazing. And if 18-year-olds like it, it must be cool. Right, kids? Right, now it's also the most accurate. So the other ship, I'm not going to be putting any of these down, but the Falcon, fantastic toy, that always annoyed me. You couldn't go from the cockpit into the back. Now the shuttle, it's got 2 seats in the front, so you can act out your rebels descent onto Endor. You've got Han and Chewie in there, Luke and Leia, you've got the team, you've got the space behind those seats for more people. And then you've actually got a doorway into the cargo hold, so you can put all your rebel commandos. You can act out that scene. It's a brilliant toy. They didn't go for that on the box art though. If you look at the box art, they've got Darth Vader and Emperor's Royal Guard driving it. It looks like they're about to land, pick up the Emperor, go for a little jaunt. I assume it's maybe the scene from the Death Star 2, but it looks really, really good. And then there's all those figures. Now whoever set up the box art for this really went to town. I think I counted them. There are 20 Emperor's Royal Guards on there and at least 60 stormtroopers. That is great box art. Now, it is not just about the box, the toys. It's listed the features, so I'm going to read these because they are amazing and I need to do justice to them. So action features are plenty. Retractable ramp into the cockpit. Pretty good. Ooh. Side panel pops off for inside play. Excellent. Press button to lower wings. And actually, yeah, if you can find one without droopy wings today, you're doing well. Manually movable landing gear. Bit of a mouthful, but a cool toy feature. Adjustable wing laser cannons. Wow. Realistic laser battle sound noise. To be fair, it's the same as all the other ones, but they're amazing for the 1970s and 1980s. But the box art is absolutely lovely. Got the line art on one side and the colour photos on the other. But we all know, big is best. Vote Imperial Shuttle.
Well,
Yeah, you want that, Andy?
90 seconds.
that's it, isn't it? Time's up, time's over. He's used up all the rest of the time.
Right, let's get it on with this. Who's going to win? Right, any hands up for me? No, fair enough. Jason, any hands up for Jason? Oh, we've got a fan. Yeah, got a fan here. That's one off. Okay, right. Hands up for Spoons. Is it too long? Oh, Spoons, you're in trouble. Oh, he's got an entire family in the room and I'm ready for him. Andy, any votes for Andy? I think Andy, you win. I can't believe Andy wins. We're not on board for that.
It's nice to have a judge who finally is rich.
Right. We're going to come to something we love to do. We kind of resurrected this recently. What we call Gimcrack Challenge. Now, Gimcrack is an old English word. Now, we probably pronounce it incorrectly, but I kind of went for Gimcrack to sound like Gimcrack, and that sounds funny. So, I think it's probably Gimcrack. But Gimcrack actually means showy and...
Gimcrack sounds much worse, please.
Yeah, it sounds great. But yeah, it sounds like something you do when you go to the gym. But it's all about showy and a bit rubbishy, but no, actually no, it's not rubbishy, it's just a bit showy and a bit kind of like lower grade maybe. So something that might be a bit beaten up, but it's still good. Yeah, tatty, a bit cheap, but good enough. Has value to it. Okay, so what we try and do now is, we just scour the SWCA and scour Duncan's collection to find some lovely stuff we used to talk about. A lot of it used to be kind of handmade stuff. We thought, we can expand that a little bit. So our challenge is, every time we go to a show, we spend £5 to £10 or whatever. Andy might have lost this because he spent 15. But, yeah, you just got me.
We're all from the same box, I think.
I think it is the tourist Tatooine. So we spend this money and we kind of talk about it, and then we put out the audience online, and they vote for the best of this amazing stuff. So, right. Let's go. James, let's start with you. I want you to defend your bit of Gimcrack.
Well, I've got a clip-along. Does anyone know what a clip-along is? Oh, yes, Duncan knows what a clip-along is, but Duncan knows also.
It's got the shipping container of that.
Right, so it's made by Craftmaster, like Fun Dimensions on the back. It's a little device for holding and sharpening your crayons. because everyone needs to have their crayons held and sharpened. And this one features Darth Vader. And I'm looking at the back of the card, you can see in the wine we've also got the lovely Ewok there, who doesn't love an Ewok. I love Ewoks, man. And R2-D2. And I just thought it's I looked at it and I thought, it looks like something I would use to, like, you know, kind of fill cavities in my teeth. That's got to be my gimcrack for the show. It looks fantastic.
No, not bad, Jason. Not much enthusiasm now, I think, in the crowd. Well, we're going to win. I'm going to win anyway, so it doesn't matter. Right, Andy, spoons.
Right, well,
£15, was it?
£10, that's the limit.
And kids.
£10 for everything £15 item box, which they all came from. So Ben Potter, thanks very much for having your box of junk, otherwise we'd all been stuck with nothing. At Celebration Europe is £10, that's for sure. So this, I didn't actually know what this was when I found out. I thought it might be braces or suspenders for our American friends here, but these are shoelaces. And aren't they cool? So these are from Starlight, I think. Is that what it says? Does it? Oh, Stride-Rite. Stride-Rite, not Starlight. They are 36 inches long. I don't know how that compares to a normal shoelace. Is that a normal shoelace? They're great. Nice X-Wing TIE fighters on the box there. A price from KB, so that's worth it anyway. The KB great store, all those 2-packs out there. But I think that is a lovely bit of gimcrack.
Enthusiasm-wise, a few empty-looking vacuous spaces there. They're just waiting
Still nods.
waiting for mine. Come on, Andy.
Right, what have I got? What have I got? I have got a Princess Leia soap. Still in a box, and this is produced by Omni Cosmetics. It's an American piece. It's got a nice picture of Carrie Fisher on the back there, Princess Leia. On the front, silver logo, and it says Star Wars Soap Princess Leia. Bath size, net weight 4 ounces, 113.4 grams, very precise. And on the back, this is where it starts to get good. We've got a little bit of blurb, and it says, Pretty Princess Leia, Senator and Princess on Alderaan, and now a dedicated leader of the rebel effort. Because she's courageous and fearless in her attempts to overthrow imperial tyranny, she's powerful at helping you get rid of ugly dirt and grime. Lather up with Leia, and you'll feel just like a princess yourself. The soap, you won't be able to see that, most of you, but the soap has a sculpt of Princess Leia. It's not a bad sculpt, but if you look closely, and do come up and have a look at the end of this podcast, end of this panel, I think it looks more like an old lady with a bun hairdo. I really don't think they've done Carrie Fisher much justice there, so yeah. Nice box, shame about the soap.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, we all went to the store, and we all went for the same guy. And he knows us all, so of course he knows me slightly, he likes me more, I think, because what he's found for me is right up my alley, right? So I said, oh, this stuff, there was a Caravan of Courage bag, it looked a bit naff, and there's other stuff, but he said, I've got something for you. I've got something behind the store, and he'll bring it to me today. Right, this is a British figure, it's a Boba Fett, but he's been through a dog. So the dog bit it to pieces, it's eaten half of it, and then he's been put back together again by the person who originally owned it. Look at the little tiny arms, amazing. He's missing a foot, his groin's gone, I'm afraid. But Rocket, that survived. Look at the state of that. His face is mashed. You're never going to see a Mandalorian with a face like that mashed ever again. What a beauty. Look, and even, it does stand up on the stand. Look at that. That's quality gimcrack, that is.
Did you say that's been through a dog?
Well, maybe.
Well, yeah. How do you wash your hands, Pete?
I've not touched it. I don't know I'm ever going to touch it. But that's my gimcrack. Look at that, it's a beauty. Right, let's get down to the voting. I think it'll mind a bit anyway. Andy's got a tat. Any hands for Andy's tat? No, any family. Oh, there's someone he's Right, not even his family. Oh, yes, really don't like him. Right, Jason's crack. The archive guys, yeah. Anders' hat.
Yeah.
My dog related. Come on, stick through a dog. Come on. I've got a fan. I've got 2 fans. Yes. Andy wins again. Andy on fire. On fire. Right. Andy's got a quiz. We're going to give some tat out, I think. You're going to give some tat out?
We do. Well, we've got a quiz for all of the audience to participate in.
How are you going to split it? What?